Hi all! Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. Good morning, everybody. All righty. We have a lot to cover. Sophie's been out and about. William's been out and about. We know that Charles just had his birthday. There's just a lot to cover today, plus some updates on some stories that we've already covered. So let's just get in there and do it, shall we? Let's go. We're starting off this morning with the fabulous photos showing that guns were fired in Green Park to celebrate the birthday of His Majesty King Charles. Very nice. And I think it's worth noting that Harry and Meghan made no attempt to acknowledge the King's birthday. They didn't even put one of those ridiculous little blurbs on the Archewell website. Nothing. Moving on. Next up, I found this picture on Twitter with the saying, family members have said, just play the game and your life will be easier, but I've got a hell of a lot of my mom in me, right? That's what Harry said during the Me You Can't See. But I agree with what Royalty with Brittany wrote. You know, maybe Harry does have a lot of his mother in him, but he didn't take in her love and loyalty to her family and the crown. For most of you who do not know this, or for anybody who doesn't know this, Diana was a massive royalist. She loved the monarchy. She was a monarchist, and she would be horrified at what Harry is doing, I guarantee you. All right, moving on. Next up, this was also on Twitter from Queen Camilla, amazing one proud aunt in the UK. Well, what is she talking about? She's talking about this painting of the Earl and Countess of Wessex when they visited Gibraltar, and apparently it was unveiled yesterday. She said, super proud of my nephew who painted it. Wow, you know, I have to say, this really is a beautiful painting. He did a great job. Good for him. Speaking of Sophie, the Countess of Wessex, she was looking absolutely gorgeous. Gingham coat, sweeping green skirt. I don't look at all of that, but you know, she braved the rain to go open a new JCB manufacturing plant. She went through and took a full tour of the entire plant. Very nice. I'm not exactly sure what they build there. I believe there's some sort of vehicle, and I'm saying that because in this next picture, she's sitting in a driver's seat. So it almost looks like farm equipment, but I'm not exactly sure. Anyway, as you can see, she unveiled a plaque. Then she went around and she spoke with a lot of the employees. She's so personable. And yeah, it looks like a good time was had by all. Super secret weapons Sophie. That's always what I'm going to call her. Now, also, while she was there, interestingly enough, she received a check for £300,000. Yes! The money was raised by the staff there at the JCB machines for the NSPCC. I love it. Wonderful. All right, moving on. Next up, Charles had the president of Ghana to Windsor Castle for an audience today. Very nice. Next up, Manchester United World put this up, and of course it's in a different language, so you know I had to translate it. So at the top, here's what it says. They were asking for Prince William's blessing before traveling to Qatar for 2022. And there you see where it says, good luck to Harry, Luke, and Marcus. And then again, I'm unable to read the language, so here's the translation. And it says, good luck to Harry, Luke, and Marcus. Win or lose, the important thing is not to get injured, let alone seriously. Well, I completely agree with that. So Prince William, the Prince of Wales, gave a message to the England squad that the players will fly to Qatar, or Qatar, however you pronounce it, on a gay pride plane amid concerns about human rights in the World Cup host country. Prince William told them that the entire country was behind them as they headed off. Now, the next thing that happened was he was asked to call out the names and hand out the shirts of each of the players. There's a little video snippet for you. Here you go. And yes, the video is silent so that there's not an issue. Okay. Then, to thank William for all of his support, they gave him a gift. Again, here's a video snippet in silence for you, wording at the bottom. I think this year this team is going to go. I think they're going to win. Go team! Okay, so the team left right after that, and then they touched it down. I think it's called in Doha, is how you pronounce it, in the world for the World Cup. Now, they flew Virgin Atlantic's gay pride plane, which I think is a great way to make a statement. Way to go, guys. Go, play, but for the love of God, especially while you're there, be super, super safe, you guys. You can do it. Win, win, win. All right, moving on. All right, next up, we have Teresa Longo. This is even better than a blind item. But the information is that major discussions are going on behind the palace walls that people are going to be really happy about. And to say more might identify their solid palace source. So, of course, they don't want to risk it, which, I get that. It's being reported that there are 2 investigations going on, and one has something to do with the first investigation. I can only assume that that's the bullying investigation, but I love what this person then wrote because I'm hoping that this is true. And this is what I'm talking about. If Harry's book is really bad, Kensington Palace might just go ahead and release that bullying report. The Queen was the one who held the bullying report back, and it could very well be that it's going to be let go. Oh, from my mouth to God's ears. All right, let's move on. All right, so I'm going to touch again on the whole Pearl Harbor thing. Remember, Harry was there by himself. It is being reported he took a private jet there and back. I told you guys I thought that's what he did. He doesn't fly commercials, so much for the whole travelist eco-warrior thing. And he didn't have his medals on, but he was wearing a poppy. And we know the picture that he showed was from The Hague to make it look like he and Meghan actually might have done something over Remembrance Day, even though obviously they didn't. I agree with what Rita Senor said. This was such a secret, like they're trying to say, that they took an official military photographer with them and leaked it to the media. Okay, somebody who's private wouldn't have brought all those people with them. This was just another PR stunt. This Twitter user put up it was not a secret trip, it was a PR trip, so you could give him the headline, which of course you obligingly did. That was to the Mail on Sunday. But what Riley Dog wrote really got me, that this visit was released to this celebrity gossip site that you can see above, and Harry and his bodyguards were wearing poppies, and the United States Memorials Veterans and War Heroes are not fodder for a royal to use for PR. They're just not. And he's like, family, the royal family, take some action. Well, guess what? They did. I digress for just a minute. So the first thing I noticed was that Harry was in Hawaii alone, because if Meghan was there, believe me, there's no way she would have let Harry have the full spotlight. Okay. Second of all, articles like this are coming out now saying that when Harry and Meghan went on their date night, it was a disaster that ended in Harry storming out of the restaurant, leaving Meghan sitting there looking like a fool. So here's my point. I'm beginning to think that they may be leading completely separate lives. And this was one of those meetings where they get together to discuss things. And Meghan said something and Harry got mad and stormed out. He's showing up a lot of places without her, which is very odd, number one. Number two, you see the royal cipher above? That's brand new. Meghan never had her own royal cipher. And number three, on that letter that Harry said, sent to the bereaved military children, people are now looking at that signature. It would appear that Meghan is forging his signature. That is not his signature. One of my subscribers, Nessie, wrote, I'm sure that letter was written by Markle and Harry's signature was forged. I'm convinced that they've split, like really split. Now, people wanted the royal family to take action, do something. Why is Andrew still a counselor of state? Why is Harry still a counselor of state? Neither one of them is working royals, and Harry doesn't even live in the country. Do something. Do something. Well, Charles did something. Yes, he did. And what he did, it's being reported, is really going to make Harry mad, because apparently what he did was he wrote to the House of Lords and he said, okay, I don't want to get rid of Harry. I don't want to get rid of Andrew. I don't think he wanted to embarrass them that way. But he said, I would like to add to the pool of people that I can call on to replace I love that headline, Dukes of Hazzard. I want to increase the pool of people I can call on to do official duties if I'm out of the country and I'm not available. And as a result of what he has done, Andrew and Harry will never, ever, ever, ever be used as counselors of state. That's been seen to. Apparently, this idea was put forth to the Queen before she passed. It's being reported that she completely approved it, which I love. So with all of these articles coming out, Harry is furious. I don't understand why he would be furious. He stepped back, he moved away, and he told everybody that when he flies into the UK, he's triggered. So why would you want him helping do royal duties? Okay, so anyway, we know that Charles wrote to the House of Lords. And he said, to ensure continued efficiency, when I'm unavailable, I would like my sister and my brother moved in to the pool of available working royals to assist. And they've previously done so in the past. So please, let it be. Well, let me just tell you that the House of Lords, when the actual statement was read in the House of Lords, people were nodding and smiling because I think they realized what was happening, and I think everybody really approved of it. Now, the House of Lords sent a message back, and this is really small, so let me read it to you. It says, the Lord Privy Seal moves that a humble address be presented to His Majesty to return thanks to him and his gracious message regarding including Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, and His Royal Highness, the Earl of Wessex, and Beaufort among those who may be called upon to act as counselors of state under the terms of the Regency Act 1937 and 1953, and to assure His Majesty that the House will, without delay, proceed to discuss this important matter and will provide such measures as may appear necessary or expedient for securing the purpose set out by His Majesty, which is basically just another way of saying we absolutely agree and we're going to get this done and we're going to get it done fast. Woo, love it. And move fast Parliament did. The King made the Princess Royal and the Earl of Wessex counselors throughout their lifetime. That means they are permanently on the list. And when George turns 18 and Charlotte and Louis turn 21, the Princess Royal and Edward will not be kicked off the list. And people are reporting that this means that Harry is firmly excluded, and it shows that there was absolutely no reconciliation during the funeral. Purposefully, I'm so sick of hearing how the royal family needs to be the ones to fix this. The royal family didn't start this. Harry and Meghan did. Harry and Meghan are the ones running their mouths to everybody. When the royal family did reach out to them behind the scenes, they had Gayle King announce it on the morning news, literally. So, yeah, he's getting what he wanted. He's out. Enjoy. Okay, we're going back again to that whole Ripple Award thing. I showed you yesterday the connection between Kerry Kennedy, the youngest Robert Kennedy child, and I showed you the connection, why Harry and Meghan are getting, I can't go through the whole thing again, why Harry and Meghan are, doing this gala where you have to buy tickets to have access to them. Well, JFK Jr. is still baffled by the decision to give the award to Harry and Meghan. Well, this is JFK Jr. with his wife on the left and his little sister Kerry on the right, the one who had the connections. Now, one of my subscribers, 1234 Cheerful, said that he saw the same headline, that JFK Jr. himself did not understand why they were getting that award. Well, I found this comment from my subscriber Meredith to be very interesting. She said that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. doesn't have anything to do with the award, that the Kennedy clan has had multiple rifts, and there is a significant split in the RFK side of the family because he supported parole of the man convicted in killing his father, and the other members of the family, including Sister Rory, did not. He's even made negative comments about Harry and Meghan getting this award. His focus is the Children's Health Defense Fund. Very interesting. Any way you look at it, I agree with this picture put up by Princess Sophia on Twitter. They're buying awards, whereas, and I've said this before, whereas William and Catherine give the awards out, give money out, help bring, attention to charities. Harry and Meghan seem to be running around gathering up awards, but the awards don't mean anything. They're empty when you have to purchase them. All right, we're going to cover now a few of the small little articles that have come out, like this one. Meghan may have been wrong about the grand marriage. Yes, I've told you before, she was upset that after a, event and they'd be out, she would have to come home and cook. She wanted a cook. She wanted a maid. She didn't want to have to do anything. And that's not what happened. And then you see something like this. Why have Harry and Meghan been frozen out? Like, are you kidding? Maybe it had something to do with the Me You Can't See. Maybe it had something to do with the Oprah interview. Maybe it has something with the memoir that's coming out. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that Meghan bullied Catherine and Charlotte. There could be any number of reasons why they're frozen out. But the point is, they're out. That's the main point. All right, you guys, the next archetype podcast dropped called The Audacity of the Activist. Now, I don't know about you guys, but she keeps having these guests now. I have no idea who these women are. Their names mean absolutely nothing to me. Apparently, she can't get the A-listers. So now, of course, Meghan is claiming that female activists are dismissed who want them to be small and quiet. And she said, I can almost, notice this default eye roll. Yeah, victimhood, here we come. Now, one of these women, Jamil, I don't even know who's who, I don't care, says, put up a tweet that said, I think they may be more embarrassed by their alleged resident pedo, Andrew, who was besties with a sex trafficker, than an American supporting women voting in her own country and loosely referencing you get the point? So once again, she's got somebody on her podcast. She's another woke whatever. I don't even know who this woman is. I mean, she's bringing on these weird women. She's bringing on people that say what she wants them to say. Here we go again. A very, very, very influential woman. She won't name her. No. Begged her, probably on her knees, to not give up her activism when she married Harry because it means so much to women and girls. Now, Meghan claims that this unknown, very, very, very A-list person came to her the eve of her wedding. The eve of her wedding when she was in the hotel with her mother and they were being guarded. There was nobody coming in and out. So this is probably about as honest as the whole, somebody from The Lion King said they were dancing in the streets because of my wedding. You guys get the point? There's some thought that it might be Oprah or Michelle Obama or Gayle King. If they're so fabulous, why aren't they on her podcast? Now with this same woman says that Meghan Markle has taken an unfathomable amount of you-know-what. And to that, I have to say, I believe with what Jordan said on Twitter. When you're a pathological, habitual, compulsive liar who fabricates stories to inflate your ego and you deliberately try to deceive and mislead court proceedings, people call you out on it. That's the beauty of social media. You're held accountable. Not to mention, and I've said this before, the internet is forever. So things that she said happened that we can prove didn't happen, like when she gave that speech and she said she got a standing ovation, and then there's the video of it and there was no standing ovation, and she gave the speech and it turned out it was all plagiarized. That's exactly it. Okay. And of course, in an attempt to kill the rumors that there's a split, she's giving new insight into Meghan and Harry's sweet relationship. Right. All right, you guys. Once again, lots of information. I want to know what you guys think about basically Harry being sidelined into where he can't be a counselor of state, because that's essentially what's happened to him. I want to know what you think about the fact that he didn't bother to acknowledge his dad's birthday. I want to know what you guys think about that ridiculous podcast that just occurred. You know what I want. Leave those comments, make them good. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of when I have an upload. I did a live recently. Multiple people said that they had no idea that there was a live, and that's because you didn't hit the button for all notifications. So go ahead and do that if that's what you want, okay? Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Getter, and Rumble. You can email me. I have my Patreon. All of that information is in the description box. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund and through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.